Gibson swings and a fly ball to deep right field. This is going to be a home run. Unbelievable! A home run for Gibson. And the Dodgers have won the game 5-4. I don't believe what I just saw.
Hi again, it's Corey with D&C Card Breaks, back today to open up a box of 1989 Topps. This 1989 Topps set includes 792 cards, so a pretty large set. I'm not sure if that was the largest to date for Topps, but if not, it had to be pretty close. This box is a wax box, which has 36 packs, 15 cards per pack, so 540 cards in this box. Obviously, you would have to buy multiple boxes to hand collate a set, at least 2, if not more, because you're bound to get multiple duplicates. Subsets in this set include record breakers, turn back the clock, which Topps had done for several years at this point, all-star selections, and first draft picks, future stars, and team leaders, which are all just scattered throughout the set. This marked the first time Topps included cards of the previous year's draft picks in their set. The manager cards contained a checklist on the back. There is no Griffey Jr. in this set. He was included in the Topps traded set, which obviously had to be purchased as a set, not in wax packs. So I guess that would have been considered an extended rookie card or an XRC at the time. Not sure about that, but I believe that would have been correct. Notable rookies that are included in this set include Craig Biggio, Randy Johnson, John Smoltz, and Gary Sheffield. 3 of those being Hall of Famers, of course. Gary Sheffield being part of the 500 home run club, I believe. And without further ado, I think we're going to go ahead and bust open this box. Before we do that, we'll look a little bit at the box. Greg Jeffries here. This was a very hot card. I remember at the time, I think most people thought he was going to be a star. I'm sure there was a little bit of New York hype associated with that. There are cards on the bottom of this box. You can actually see these box cards being sold on eBay. I have a few of these in my collection that I actually cut out as a kid, so I wasn't being very delicate at the time, so they're not very good. This box has obviously had a little bit of wear, so I don't think there's any point in trying to do that. But we do have a Ricky Henderson with the Yankees, Keith Hernandez, and a Tommy Lasorda card. Jose Canseco on the front. This is kind of a classic American look to me. The font that's used here with this script that just kind of keeps going. Very reminiscent of the Dodgers look. You could almost just call it a baseball font. It's just very Americana feel to it. So I really like this 89 set. It's much better than the 88 Topps set, in my opinion, as far as design. And the 88 set, honestly, to me, is just a little boring. 87 Topps set, great. 89 Topps set, I like. The 88 Topps set, which I don't have a box of those to open. I do have a vending box of those that will open at some point, 88 Topps, but this 89 Topps, I really like the way they look. Before we open up the box, when I bought this box online, this was about $10 online. You can, if you're interested in opening junk wax era boxes, these are very affordable. You can probably get these at shows for even cheaper, but this was about $10 online, and along with some other boxes. I bought this, it averaged about $10, including the shipping. But the seller actually included a rack pack, which is cool. The rack packs actually always included what they call a glossy all-star. And I'm not complaining by any means, because this was just a throw-in, but I can see why it was thrown in. This is the glossy all-star was actually the manager, Tom Kelly. I believe he was the Twins manager, maybe. I'm not sure. That star is kind of blocking his team. Another manager on the front, Joe McGrain showing, and then Elster, Pascual Perez, and Frank White on the back. I'm not sure. I do remember getting a few wax packs as a kid, but I'm not sure the best way to open these, to be honest. But I guess we'll just kind of rip into them as delicately as possible. I imagine the wax packs maybe got a little more wear and tear before they were opened than the wax packs, just given that people would, you could obviously see who was on the front and see who was on the back, so people would be kind of handling these to see before they purchased. Tom Kelly, that is the glossy All-Star. There's just a little bit of a feel. It's not glossy like today's cards are glossy, but there is a little bit of shine to that card. Nick Esaski, Kirk Gibson, coming off the home run. Doc Gooden. That's a cool card there. Doc Gooden was on my list. I picked out about 66 cards that I would like to obtain, including those 4 rookies that we named earlier. 47 of those 66 cards that I would like to get are Hall of Famers. Several of those would be duplicates. In other words, All-Star cards, Ozzie Smith, base card, Ozzie Smith, All-Star subset. But 47 total Hall of Famers. Jose Lind, Randy Bush, John Wathan, Paul Ossenmacher, Rob Murphy. Oh, another card, Frank White. Of course, he was on the back. You just kind of have to get a grip and rip. There's that Dave Johnson card that was on the front. Brian Holton, Ray Quinones, Bob Melvin, Joe Ursulat, Jeff Pico, Rod Nichols, Jeff Hamilton, Vince Coleman, very intense looking there, Jeff Biggio, another John Wathan, Wes Lancaster, Hall of Famer Dennis Eckersley. Obviously, he gave up the Kirk Gibson home run. The aforementioned Kirk Gibson home run in the 1988 World Series. So again, this is coming off of that, and he actually had a great year. You can see he had 45 saves in 1988, 2.35 ERA, led the league there in italics with that save total, which was pretty much the prior year. The 87 was really the full conversion, looks like, for Dennis from the bullpen. I'm sorry, from the starting mound to the bullpen. Obviously, he made a name for himself as a closer. Speaking of, Lee Smith, Hall of Fame closer as well, and Pascual Perez. So one more section of this rack pack, I should say. Honestly, scissors would probably be the best way to do this. I just don't want to feel like I'm manhandling the cards a little bit. So there's Joe McGrain, Jack McKeon. He managed the Florida Marlins at some point. Pedro Guerrero, I may be wrong about that, but Julio Franco, Mark Davidson, the Hawk. So that's my favorite player of all time. This is a cool card to get. It's his All-Star card. I like that blue background. Again, the red, white, and blue with the National League. Just a very Americana look to these cards this year. I'm not sure if that's what they were going with, but it's definitely got that feel. It's just a very classic card. Tommy Lasorda. And I'm not counting. Oh, there's a Randy Johnson rookie. That's very cool. It is a rookie card for a Hall of Famer. Just a headshot. You can tell the photographer just said Randy, look in the distance there, but Randy obviously Montreal Expo early in his career. I'm not counting Hall of Fame managers in my Hall of Fame count. The only manager card in this set that I really particularly care about would be the Pete Rose card. Checklist. Ron Oster, Mike Pagliarulo, and Kevin Elster. So now we'll hop right into our actual box here. I haven't actually looked at this box yet. I can't tell. This side looks a little short. I'm not sure if somebody, but it doesn't on this side. It could just be the way the gum is resting in this box. I guess we'll find out here. If it's a pack short, it's a pack short. Maybe we'll count our sticks of gum at the end and find out for sure. So we started out pretty good there. We got Randy Johnson, got Andre Dawson, Dennis Eckersley, Dwight Gooden, and Lee Smith. So quite a haul from that one rack pack, even though we got the dreaded manager all-star card. These wax packs do come with gum, so we're going to have gum stains on one side and wax stains on the other. You can see a little bit of that wax stain already on that card. I'm not sure if you can see that or not with the light, but it is there. And this is the nice blue, again, very Americana look to this. The 87 Topps packs were green. This is blue. Otherwise, very, very similar looking. The gum, not quite as stuck to the card as the 87 packs that I was dealing with previously, but that left a big old gum stain. The 87 Topps did not leave quite that apparent of a gum stain. So we'll just start. Steve Rosenberg, another Jack McKeon, Pedro Guerrero, Herb Winningham. So this is what we were talking about. This is the first year that Topps included first-round draft picks. Not sure if they included all the first-round draft picks. I don't think so. Probably just select. Don't quote me on that though. But that is Willie Ansley. Don't particularly know if he did much. I know he didn't do much because I don't even recognize his name. But he was drafted out of high school. Complete high school batting record. Not available first 3 years. Senior hit 8 home runs there. I don't know, that's kind of cool. So, straight out of high school. Jimenez, Doug Jennings, Andy Hawkins. That's a generic card. Terry Clark, Mickey Hatcher, Luis Polonia, Mitch Williams, Calvin Schiraldi, Mike Henneman, and BJ Surhoff. Much more luck in that rack pack so far. That was a little bit of a dud of a pack, but these cards have a great smell. There's just something classic about these cards that will just take you back to your childhood, just picking it up and feeling that gum on the top there. And then opening, you get that smell of cardboard and bubble gum. Not quite the same gum stain as that BJ Surhoff card. If some of the gum was a little more, not sure, acidic. I'm not sure what causes those stains to be worse. Jack Clark, Jim Antner, Moose Stubbing, Brian Downing, Randy St. Clair, Lee Straker, Rick Mahler, Guillermo Hernandez. Man, oh man, another one. The Hawk. Andre Dawson. Tommy Lasorda. Steve Ontiveros. Another All-Star. Andres Galarraga. Looks like there's a printing error there. You can tell, I mean, it's straight out of the pack. It's got some streaking, some red there, but record breaker for the Mets. Kevin steals 21 without being caught. Kevin McReynolds set a major league record of 21 stolen bases with no caught stealing in 1988. Wow, that is impressive. And Terry Poole. These packs are opening very easily. They're just not much seal left. They are sealed, but they're coming open very easily. That is a nice gum stain there. I'll contend that the gum stain cards should be worth more, because if you're gonna get a good card, in order to get a gum stain, it had to be on the back. Provides a little more rarity. I'm kind of kidding, but Randy Johnson. That's another rookie card for Randy. Would also like to get the Biggio rookie. Ron Jones, and of course the John Smoltz rookie. Oster, Pagliarulo, Paul Runge. I watched a lot of Braves games. Don't remember him, although he played with the Braves for a lot of years, but I'm not sure how much longer he lasted with the Braves because I don't remember him. Dave Winfield. So there's a Hall of Famer. Maybe that's a printing error. I'm not sure if that's on all the cards or not. Dave Winfield All-Star. Looks like they went with the red background for the American League All-Stars. Home runs, you can see Canseco led the league with 42 in 88. Led his team to the World Series. Dave Winfield, 25. Bo Jackson there, a lot of names. Blast from the past there. Larry Parrish. Todd Stottlemyre went on to be pitching coach. Billy Ripken. Nelson Santavina. Dave Henderson. Andres Thomas. Mike Scott. Charlie Lee Brandt. So pretty cool. So far we've got 2 Randy Johnson rookie cards. I remember rooting heavily for Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling in the World Series, the 2001 World Series with the Diamondbacks against the Yankees. They pulled that out. Herm Winningham. There's another Willie Ansley. Jimenez. Doug Jennings. Andy Hawkins. The 3rd Randy Johnson rookie card. So, wow. That's really cool. I'm fine with keeping up this pace of Randy Johnson cards. Jimmy Jones, Ron Jones, Wally Backman, Jeff Reed, Paul Kilgus, Mike Dunn, Renee Gonzalez, Bobby Valentine, manager for the Rangers, and Gerald Perry. Bobby Valentine, I can remember watching him get thrown out of, I'm sure you remember, it's one memory I have of this gum's broken, by the way. The one memory I have of him is getting tossed out of the game and coming back to the dugout with a fake mustache. I can't remember how much he was fined for that, but I know it was probably significant. There, that gum is broken. Too, I felt a couple of those pieces lying around. Checklist card, so that's okay card to get gum stains on. That's actually the wax, I think. All right. Walt Weiss. I'd love to see a Jose Canseco, Mark McGuire with the cards with the Athletics this particular year. Tracy Jones, Charlie O'Brien, Charlie Puleo, Tony Fernandez, Dave Rigetti, Ron Tingley, I guess, Ed Vandenberg, another Andre Dawson. So that's the base card. I remember that. I know I had this card. I have this card. That's a great shot of Andre. Started out his career with the Expos, went into the Hall of Fame as an Expo, but had 4 or 5 great years in the mid-twilight of his career with the Cubs. That 1987 MVP season where he had 49 home runs, 137 RBIs, led the league. Loved watching Dawson play. Lou Brock, Hall of Famer, turned back the clock. So 10 years ago, in 1979, if you're curious and you want to read that, feel free to pause and take a look at that. Tom Candiotti, Roger McDowell, part of the episode of Seinfeld with Keith Hernandez, Reds leaders. Along with the Biggio rookie, I've already mentioned Canseco, McGuire. I'd love to get a Bo Jackson, Nolan Ryan, Cal Ripken Jr. There's another Hall of Famer there on the back with some the wax stain that you can see there. Jim Rice, getting towards the end of his career at this point. Oral Hershiser, part of that 1988 Dodgers team. Bruce Benedict. I think it was 88. Was it 88 or 89 that the Dodgers won? Gosh, now I'm second guessing myself. Jose Cecina, Dan Plesac, Kelly Gruber. Feel free to let us know in the comments below. Tell me how stupid I am if it was 89. Bill Doran. I know the Reds won in 90. Kurt Manwaring. I believe it was 88 because I think 89 was the Dodgers. I'm sorry, the Giants Oakland World Series with the earthquake. So feeling more confident in myself. Mac Pagliarulo, Paul Runge, another Dave Winfield. So that must be an error on all the Winfield cards because it's on that card as well. Larry Parrish, Bob Stanley, Don August, and Jim Rice, Hall of Famer. Jim Rice spent his entire career with the Red Sox, I guess. At least to this point he did. Not sure if he spent any time on another team late in his career. Red Sox fans would certainly know for sure. Obviously, he did not win a World Series with the Red Sox because, wow, my goodness, look at that. That's a wax stain there. I did put on Twitter, if you follow us on Twitter at DC Card Breaks, I did find a 1986 Topps with a, in my personal collection, just thumbing through some cards. It was a Tim Burke card. The gum stain had actually bled through to the front of the card, a substantial amount. Tony Gwynn, Hall of Famer. Steve Peters, Rick Sutcliffe, Carney Lansford, Jesse Barfield, Gerald Young, Paul O'Neill. That's the gum-stained Paul O'Neill card. Bob Stanley, Don August, another Jim Rice card. Salazar, Eric King, Dante Bichette. It's probably, yeah, I imagine that's his rookie card. Dante Bichette put up some good numbers with the Colorado Rockies. Along with Larry Walker, they kind of helped Coors Field be known as the hitter's park. Obviously, at the higher elevation, some people hold those numbers, kind of adjust the numbers, if you will. And Todd Hilton is seeing that now, as far as his Hall of Fame eligibility, kind of discount some of the numbers because they took place largely at Coors. Rick Dempsey, Rafael Palmeiro. That is an off-cut cards at the top to bottom, quite a bit off. Jim Fregosi, Stan Javier, Jeffrey Leonard, Don Carmen, John Cangelosi, Rick Armstrong. There's the Greg Jeffries card, Future Star designation, posing for the camera there, obviously. This card, if you remember in the Beckett magazine price guide, this card would have been probably one of the most expensive cards when the set was initially released, due to the hype around Greg Jeffries, probably because he hit 321 with his cup of coffee in 1988 with 6 home runs and 109 at bats. So I can see why there was a lot of hype around Greg Jeffries there. Joey Meyer, Frank Robinson. So that's a manager card. I may actually set that aside. I said earlier that Pete Rose would have been the only manager card that I particularly cared about. As you can see, the checklist on the back. Frank Robinson, great player too. Dallas Green, John Candelaria, Roberto Kelly, Mel Hall. So far, the 1989 Topps box, this is the only box that I actually have two of. So this is the first box. Not sure if I'll open the second box on camera here. One box may be enough. Got the gum-stained Maldonado card there. Kevin Bass, J. Tibbs, Benito Santiago, Barry Lyons, Rick Cerrone, Bren Smith, Candy Maldonado, Jay Buhner. He had some good years. Jeff Pico, Walt Terrell, Bill Swift, Dwayne Henry, Jeff Biggio, Chad Kruger, and Kurt Stillwell. A lot of Hall of Famers to get in this. Hopefully we'll get on a run. You know, there's George Brett, there's Paul Molitor, there's Cal Ripken. There's so many cards. Obviously you've got some non-Hall of Famers such as Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens. We already pulled a Rafael Palmeiro. Mike Fitzgerald, Paul Gibson, Tom Kelly. So there's the Tom Kelly. Yes, he was the Twins manager. That's the base card. We got the glossy All-Star card in the rack pack. Nick Esaski, another Kirk Gibson, another Doc Gooden, Odeby McDowell. It's a fun name to say, Odeby. Doug Sisk, Braves leaders. Terry Blocker, Ken Patterson, Danny Jackson, Franklin Stubbs, Carmelo Martinez, and the Blue Jays leader. I'm not even really paying attention on who's on the front of that. Not sure. Yeah, well, anyways, not particularly picky, or not a particular fan of those team leader cards. So. It's got a nice gum stain on it. Frank Tanana, Jeff Kunkel, Craig McMurtry, Gene Larkin, Tom Troublehorn, Scott Geraltz, Mark Davis, Franklin Stubbs, Carmelo Martinez, another Blue Jays leader, Brooke Jacoby, Ron Karkovis, Rich Gossage, Goose Gossage, Hall of Famer, journeyman pitcher, Roger Clemens, All-Star. Roger Clemens, obviously not in the Hall of Fame, all due to alleged PEDs. Oh, nice. This is a card that I mentioned watching. Of course, it's going to be wax stained, so my theory, this card should be worth more. If that really were the case, people would be trying to deliberately somehow create wax and gum stains, but that's a good gum stain too. Nice, nice. See who that is. If you didn't see, we'll see who that is in a second. Ozzie Virgil, Greg Gross, Tom Herr, Johnny Paredes, Tom Glavine. This is going to end up being a very good pack. Tom Glavine. This would have been his second year. 1988 Topps was his rookie card, I know for a fact. So these cards, the condition of these cards they look really good. You know, that I'm not a grader. It's a little off left to right, but sharp corners. Darren Dalton, Alfredo Griffin. Oh, there's Barry Bonds. Young Pirate there. His 86 Topps traded was his extended rookie card. 87 Topps, the rookie card. So this is a few years after his rookie year. Tom Pagnozzi, Jose Oquendo, Bob Forsch, Junior Ortiz, Scott Terry, and that's the card. I almost forgot about it. Bo Jackson. Batting practice jersey with those powder blue pants. You know, Bo split time, obviously, with baseball and football, so that's why his games played are typically less, but he had some pop. First big league home run was 475-foot blast to left center field embankment at Royals Stadium, 1986. Like Barry Bonds, he had a 1986 Topps traded extended rookie card, 1987 Topps rookie card. That was a good pack. Tom Glavine, Barry Bonds, and Bo Jackson. Brooke Jacoby, Frank White, Dale Svim, Hardy Barrett, Joe Price, Heroes. So that is the manager card that I would like to, that was on my list. This would have been, man, I think pretty much right at the point where he was under investigation and for gambling, betting on his own team. It's the one rule in all the clubhouses: do not gamble. Rich Gossage. Obviously, the big issue with baseball and gambling goes back to, I believe it's the 1919 Red Sox, I'm sorry, the 1919 White Sox. 8 Men Out, if you've ever seen that movie. Another Barry Bonds, another Roger Clemens we skipped over. Obviously, that World Series was fixed with allegedly 8 of the players in on that. Joe Jackson, one of the all-time greats, obviously. Jim Corsi, John Shelby, Rock Raines, Hall of Famer, Forsalak, Keith Miller, Steve Sachs, Dave Valley, Tom Filer, John Farrell, Yankees leaders, Don Heinkel, Gary Sheffield, future star designation as well, along with Greg Jeffries. Gary Sheffield's career did pan out much better than Greg Jeffries' career. Over 500 home runs. He also got, I believe he's being withheld out of the Hall of Fame because of PED suspicions or possibly proof as well. Dwayne Bice, that's an interesting card. If you don't know Dwayne Bice, you should definitely Google him right now. Just Google Dwayne Bice Upper Deck. It's a fascinating story on how Upper Deck actually came to be. Largely because Dwayne Bice was looking for a restaurant and was lost and stopped and went into a card shop, and the owner basically recognized him, or at least they figured out who he was, and the card shop owner, along with another investor, was in the process of trying to create a card company. The name of that card shop that he stopped at was called the Upper Deck, and they were having issues getting licensing for the players, the teams, to license another card set. There were obviously 4 card sets, 1988 and prior, at least through, I think Score started in 88. So you had Score, Donruss, Fleer, and Topps. And Dwayne Bice was instrumental in just making the connection to get licensing. And in exchange for that, he got a substantial ownership. And I say substantial, 12% or so. I can't remember the exact amount, but he got ownership and turned that into millions of dollars. Much more than he ever got playing baseball. Warner, Randy Kramer, Greg Gagne, Fred Tolliver, Mike Fitzgerald, Braves leader, Terry Blocker, Ken Patterson, and Danny Jackson. I really would love to open up a box of 1989 Upper Deck, but I just don't know that I can justify spending that kind of money. I know the Upper Deck, especially that inaugural 89 set, holds a little better value, but I really think unless you pull 4 or 5 Griffies and they all grade 8, 9, you're definitely not going to make your money back. And I know you're never going to make your money back in this set either, but this box just costs $10. The boxes of unopened 89 Upper Deck are about $150. Barry Larkin, Hall of Fame shortstop with the Cincinnati Reds. Randy Bush, John Wathan, Paul Ossenmacher, Rob Murphy, Jose Oquendo, Bob Forsch, Junior Ortiz, Scott Terry, another Bo Jackson. This was about the height of his, you'd almost call it marketing. He was just an advertiser's dream. The Bo Knows campaign, obviously football, baseball player. I can remember a commercial where he was just playing all sports, basketball, archery, golf. Just very likable athlete at the time. He was definitely one of my favorite players to watch when you got the opportunity to watch him. Bobby Thigpen, Bob Kipper, Boyd McClendon, Steve Trout, Todd Benzinger, Todd Burns. There is a card there, and it is literally, it really is stuck. I can't even do it with. That goes. Not sure why that's. I don't know if you can see. Something's coming through on that card. You can try to get the light there. It's the gum. Well, that's what it is. So I've got another one. I showed you that. I told you about the Tim Burke earlier. Tim Burke was worse than this, but that gum stain is actually coming through to the front of the card to the point that that card stuck to it. That would have been a little, you know, tongue-in-cheek. I'm saying they should be worth more. If that was a, you know, a Cal Ripken or a Nolan Ryan, that would have been rather disappointing to have a card, basically, particularly the front of the card, be, you know, altered by gum. Dave West. That gum broke, came right off. You can see there is a little bit of warping, bending. I'm not sure what the proper term would be, but these cards aren't perfectly straight. There's a little bit of warping where the cards have just sat over time, possibly in someone's attic where it gets hot, cold, hot, cold. Cards just start doing funny things. Dave Magadan, Lloyd Mosby, Orioles leaders, Danny Cox, Willie Frazier, Dave Clark. I know I still just love that Indians logo. Dave Clark, Tim Loudner, Mike Gallego, White Sox leaders, and Mark Lemke. Not much going on, honestly, with that pack. A broken piece of gum there. Bruce Fields, Terry Steinbach, Floyd Bannister, Bill Pacoda, Russ Nixon. Obviously, this is pre-Bobby Cox. Gotta be Bobby Cox's era. Gotta be right around the corner. May have been Russ's last year. Bobby Cox coming in the next year. Manning Lee, Frank Williams, Kent Herbeck, Mark Williamson, Ken Howell, Jeff Musselman, Royals leaders. This is a record breaker, 1988. George Bell slams 3 home runs on opening day. Wow. So I'm sure some sports writer had fun with that, saying Bell was on pace to hit 162 times 3, whatever that is. 400 plus home runs. Ron Perlman, and Jose Guzman. That is a heck of a way to start the season out. Almost be all downhill from there, though. You hit 3 home runs on opening day. Because you know, players, you probably went 2 weeks at some point without a home run. Pat Borders, Kirk McCaskill, Jimmy Williams, Mark Grant, Lou Whitaker, Brian Harvey, Bobby Witt, Argenis Salazar, Eric King, Dante Bichette, Ron Kittle, some reflection in the glasses, Larry Anderson, Orioles leaders, Danny Cox, and Willie Frazier. Still a lot of Hall of Famers to pull. Paul Molitor's of the world, Greg Maddux, Ryan Sandberg, Gary Carter. So many Hall of Famers at this time. Mike Kingery, Randy Reddy, Greg Briley, Mark Clear, Joe Carter, Mitch Webster, Neil Allen, Greg Minton. Speaking of Hall of Famers, Wade Boggs, that's a new one. Wade Boggs, great all-time hitter. Won a World Series very late in his career with the Yankees of all teams. Hank Aaron. Turn back the clock card. Big Hank fan. Keith Atherton. Mike Boddicker. Angels leaders. John Smoltz. So there is a John Smoltz rookie card. We've got we've got Randy Johnson, we've got John Smoltz. Now, I think we really just need Craig Biggio to have. We also have Gary Sheffield, who I mentioned, although he's not a Hall of Famer. So now we're just lacking Craig Biggio rookie card to really get all the notable rookies in this set. We even pulled a Greg Jeffries, who was notable at the time, but ended up not being very notable player. All-Star card in here. Let's see who that is. Darryl Hamilton. Always loved watching the All-Star games too as a kid, with the players all with the different uniforms on, which is really cool to see. Ryan Sandberg. Almost felt like these enemies were coming together for a common good. They go back to their regular teams and start hating one another again. So Rhino, Hall of Famer. Rance Molnix, Don Robinson, Dave Stewart, Bob Nepper, Dave Clark, Tim Loudner, Mike Gallego, White Sox leader, Mark Lemke, Steve Lyons, Randy Bacchus, and Jose Canseco. Printing error on the Jose card too. Looks like that's fairly common on the red background American League cards. just a classic American looking card. I love it. Love this 89 All-Star. These cards, they are really cool. We saw earlier that Jose led the American League in home runs this particular year, and this was the 1988 was his 40-40 season. You can see he had 40 home runs. Ricky Henderson just running away with it with 93, but Jose Canseco, a unique specimen of speed and power. We now know where, at least, not sure when he started, I haven't read the book, but we know where some of that power was coming from. Wasn't all natural. Steve Lyons, Randy Bacchus. There's another Jose Canseco, and that one does not have the printing error, so that's cool. Mookie, Mark Parent, Bob McClure, Don Mattingly. Donnie Baseball, not a Hall of Famer, but still a very collectible player and card. Jeff Sellers, Mark McGwire. So we've got a Canseco All-Star, and then we've got a Mark McGwire base card. It's a good looking card. Big Mac. Looks like he's about to put one over the fence. Kind of an unusual stance for Big Mac. I think he may have changed his stance over the years. He stood differently the year he broke the single season home run record. His stance was a little more spread out and low to the ground, if I remember correctly. Scott Bankhead, Steve Ellsworth, Jeff Treadway. Speaking of Jeff Treadway, recently opened up the 1989 Fleer box, which is full of errors. Obviously, the Bill Ripken error being the most famous, but I had no idea there was a Jeff Treadway error card where there's basically a bullseye. It would have basically been a Photoshop type of image, basically a bullseye that was left on the card from the photo editing department, and I actually pulled a Jeff Treadway. It wasn't the error card. Dustin actually texted me, and so I rechecked that, and it wasn't the error card, which has a little bit of value, but Dave Smith, Pete O'Brien, Ben Pasqua, Storm Davis, Danny Jackson, Danny Jackson, 23 wins. Rick Aguilera, Chris Brown, Gil Hodges, turn back the clock, 1969, so 20 years from 1989. If you want to read that, feel free. Willie McCovey, Brad Havens, Kevin Gross, Rangers leaders, Louis Meadows. Steve Avery. I think he may be one of those first-round pick cards. We'll see. There's another future stars in there. Could be another Gray Jeffries. Could be another Gary Sheffield. Tom Herr. Johnny Paredes. Jack Morris, Hall of Famer. Went toe-to-toe with another Hall of Famer, John Smoltz. Game 7 of the 91 World Series, I believe. He won, pitched 10 shutout innings to win. Jim Wheeland. I wonder if he was still smoking in the dugout at this point in time. Probably was. Coaching the Pirates. Those good Pirates teams in the late 80s, early 90s. Darryl Boston. So that's a Sandy Alomar future star. It's a cool card. Ball being delivered. Probably wasn't a prop. It could have been a prop. That's cool. Rob Ducey. Dodgers leaders. Ty Griffin. So there's another one of those #1 draft picks. Cubs. I remember having this card as a kid, thinking, for whatever reason, you see that #1 draft pick designation. You, as a kid, you're just going to assume this guy's going to be a stud Hall of Famer one day, but not. Didn't happen. Pat Sheridan, Gino Petralli. Yep, I remember that card. That's why I thought that the Steve Avery card had the #1 draft pick. I think he got drafted straight out of high school, too. He did. Complete high school pitching record. Steve Avery, at least early, he was part of the early 90s Braves success, but he never really matched the success of Glavine, Smoltz, Maddox. That Braves pitching staff was something else into the mid-90s. Mike Stanley, Gary Pettis, Will Clark, Nolan Ryan. So, man, I'm glad we got that. I think I did not get a single Nolan Ryan in 87 Topps. Didn't get a single Nolan Ryan in 89 Fleer. So I'm very, very glad to get this card. Obviously, Mets, Angels, Astros would go on. I believe would finish his career with the Rangers. Strikeout king, 7 career no-hitters. Jeff Parrott, Andy Allenson, Dave Martinez, Mookie Wilson, Mark Parrott, Bob McClure, another Donnie Baseball, Jeff Sellers, Jack Armstrong, another Greg Jeffries, and Joey Meyer. About 9 packs left, it looks like. It's always interesting when you start to pull up a pack, open a pack, and you can tell this guy's got a long career. So I wonder who this could be. Possibly a Hall of Famer. Had such a long career. Nope. Jerry Roos. Look at that when we get to it. Lloyd McClendon, Steve Trout, Todd Benzinger, Todd Burns, Mike Burkbeck, Ozzie Virgil, Gross, Jim Abbott. So there's another #1 draft pick. You can see he went to college at Michigan, so he was not drafted straight out of high school. He was drafted out of college, freshman, sophomore, junior year. Jim Abbott obviously, had the disability with the hand, which, he was just awesome. It was just a great story that he overcame that. Obviously threw a no-hitter later in his career. Manny Trillo turned back the clock 5 years. 1984, Dwight Gooden. Pause that and read about 1984. Feel free to. John Moses, Randy Myers, Cubs leaders, Rick Rhoden, and there's Jerry Rousseau. Yeah, Jerry looks like he's getting up there in age at this point. Definitely has some gray in the hair. Started his career in 1969. Not sure about his age, but obviously Nolan Ryan started his career a little earlier. I know Nolan Ryan's rookie card is the 68 Topps, so Jerry just showing his age a little more than Nolan did. Still looked like he had a quite lengthy career spanning 69 to at least 89, 20 years. Flip those the wrong way, looks like. Jose Lind, Chuck Krim, Pat Tabler, Paul Molitor. So I mentioned him. Glad to see that we got a Paul Molitor card. All-time Brewers great. Played later in his career with the Blue Jays. I believe he was part of at least one of those World Series teams, if not both. Batted safely in 39 consecutive games in 1987. Once you get up to late 30s, early 40s, people start paying attention. Trying to go for the DiMaggio streak. Mike Aldrete, Eric Show, Ron Hassey, another Frank Robinson card, Dallas Green, John Candelaria, Roberto Kelly, Mel Hall, Jay Buhner, Jeff Pico, and Walt Terrell. So still no Craig Biggio. Do hope that we get that card. Craig Biggio, obviously starting his career as a catcher, would move on to played a little outfield before I think finally settling in at second base. Jody Reed, Teddy Higuera, Jeff Robinson, Jim Eppard, Tim Leary, Scott Bradley, Jim Clancy, Matt Williams, Billy Upshaw, Record Breakers. That's Wade Boggs. I don't know what he did. Boggs gets 200 hits, 6th straight season. Modern record, 200 more hits for 6th consecutive season. Wow. Now Boggs was a great hitter, great contact hitter. Not a ton of pop. He could hit home runs, but Tommy John there, Don Robinson, Ozzie Smith, All-Star card. Boggs rarely struck out. That was him and Gwynn. Both were well known for that. John Costello and John Smiley. Alright, so we've got 6 packs left. Getting towards the end of this box. Brett Saberhagen, Bo Diaz, Ron Darling, David Cone. These are some, I think I remember seeing these yet. So there he is, Craig Biggio. So we've got all 3 Hall of Fame rookie cards out of this box. Well, that's great. And you can see he is listed as a catcher. We go on to have a Hall of Fame career. Jeff Bagwell would join him in a few years. Killer Bees, both of them later be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Rick Bruchel. That's Oral. That's probably his 59.5 game, 59.5 inning. 59 scoreless innings, which is, yes, very impressive. Of course, they would go on to win the World Series that year. Steve Bedrosian, Carlos Quintana, Greg Swindell, Gary Carter, the kid with the Mets at this point in his career. Inducted into the Hall of Fame as an Expo, I do believe, along with Andre Dawson, Luis Alicea, maybe even Tim Raines, I believe, may be inducted as a Expo as well, and Alan Trammell. Batting average, 311 for Trammell. Wade Boggs, 366 batting average. That's what happens when you get 200 hits every year for 6 straight years. Hall of Famer. Alright, so we're down to our last 5 packs. It's a shame Topps didn't include Griffey in their regular base card set this year. Donruss did, obviously. The 89 Donruss Griffey card, part of their base set. Upper Deck obviously did. I'm sure someone has been asked. I would be curious to know why Topps chose not to include him, but included some of these other prospects, first round draft picks and such. Greg Briley, Mark Clear, Joe Carter, Mitch Webster, Neil Allen, Bobby Thigpen, Bob Kipper, Gary Reedus, Ken Caminiti. I think Ken may have won an MVP award at some point. Great fielder. He made some unbelievable plays at third base in his career. Played with the Padres and a few other teams. Monty Ferris, that's another one of those number 1 draft picks. Could have been Griffey here, but I don't know. Jim Pankovitz, Kirby Puckett, All-Star card. Played his entire career with the Minnesota Twins, I do believe. I don't think he went elsewhere in his career. Mark Eichhorn and Terry Francona, future manager. Opening these packs of cards, at least for me, it's a great stress reliever at the end of a long day. For 10 bucks, provide some great entertainment, and then afterwards you've actually got some cool cards. None of them really have value. I'm well aware of that. Nobody's going to be making any money off the 89 top set. There's just too many out there. There's no scarcity at all. Just way too much volume. They just printed the crap out of these cards. Roger Clemens. Pete Incaviglia. Willie Randolph. Mackie Sasser. Ernie Witt. Jack Howell. Fred Lynn. Bill Swift. Dwayne Henry. Jeff Bittiger. Chad Kruger. Kurt Stillwell. Tom Filer. John Farrell. I think he went on to be a manager as well. And the Yankees leader. So 3 packs left. We pulled some good cards. Several Randy Johnson rookies, Craig Biggio rookie, Smoltz rookie, pulled a Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Nolan Ryan. I had to choose someone from this pack or these last few packs. Would love to get a Cal Ripken. Love to get a George Brett. We'll just have to see if it happens. Cecil Fielder. This may have been the year he hits 50 home runs. I think 89 may have been the year. Jim Sundberg. Dwayne Ward. Bruce Sutter. Hall of Famer. Relief pitcher. Alan Trammell, Hall of Famer as well. Interesting tidbit, his rookie card, I think it was 77 or 78. Alan Trammell and Paul Molitor on the same rookie card. Rookie shortstop card. So 2 Hall of Famers on that one rookie card. Andres Galarraga, the Big Cat. Gary Ward. Jeff Reardon. Ooh, Darryl Strawberry. He was someone that kind of, look at that. Man, if you were a Darryl Strawberry fan, that would have been the pack to pull. Back-to-back, base card, all-star subset. He had a beautiful swing. You know, Griffey Jr., I think, at least for me, in my time, had the sweetest swing of all time, but Strawberry's was right up there, too. It really was. Ramon Martinez, Pedro's older brother. Pat Perry. Bobby Bonilla. Recently got another check from the Mets for over $1 million. Will continue to do so for many years to come. There is a Gary Carter record breaker. Let's see here. Sets record for career putouts. 10,360 career putouts, most of any catcher in Major League history. That's interesting. Mark Portugal. Alright, so we're down to our last 2 packs. Again, if we're looking for anybody, we'd love to get Cal Ripken. George Brett would be great. Jose Canseco, we're still missing his base card. We did get the All-Star subset. Maybe a Greg Maddux card. There's still a lot of cards that we haven't gotten. Again, I do have a second box, so we're definitely not going to open that here today, but you know, maybe some of these other cards are in that box. Jack Morris, Carmen Castillo, Fred Manrique, Jim Leland, Tom Niedenfuhr, Mike Kingery, Randy Reddy, Robin Ventura. That's another #1 draft pick. Robin Ventura had a pretty good career. Not a Hall of Famer by any means, but would also go on to be a manager. And probably, unfortunately for him, known for his run-in with Nolan Ryan. Juan Augusto, Bert Blyleven, another Hall of Famer there. Hippolito Pena, that's a fun name, Hippolito Pena. Joe McGrain, Drew Hall, Barry Jones, and Raphael Belliard. Alright guys, well it's our last pack. Maybe we'll get some good mojo here. Get one or two of the guys I mentioned I haven't gotten yet. If not, again, we do have another box that I'll open at some point soon. All messed up with this last pack here. Okay, here we go. Don Heinkel, Jerry Reed, John Franco, Milt Thompson, Cal Daniels, Jamie Quirk, Rex Hudler, Jeff Russell. Not much luck so far in the Gary Sheffield Future Star. Ken Oberkfell, Dwayne Bice. Mentioned his backstory with Upper Deck earlier. Albert Hall, Andy Kramer, Greg Gagne, and Fred Tolliver. So nothing doing with that last pack, but that's okay. We did pretty well tonight. We'll take a quick look through these again. I set some of these cards aside. Most notables: Gary Sheffield, Bert Blyleven, Jack Morris, Gary Carter, Darryl Strawberry, Trammell, Bruce Sutter, Clemens, Puckett, Trammell, Carter, Biggio rookie, Ozzie Smith, Wade Boggs, Frank Robinson, Paul Molitor, Dwight Gooden, Don Mattingly, Nolan Ryan, Jack Morris, McGuire, Mattingly, Canseco, Sandberg, Smoltz, Hank Aaron, Wade Boggs, Bo Jackson, Barry Larkin, Gary Sheffield, Rock Raines, Ventura, Abbott, Jeffries, Will Clark, Sandy Alomar, Gil Hodges, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Goose Gossage, Pete Rose, Bo Jackson, Barry Bonds, Tom Glavine, Roger Clemens, Goose Gossage, Doc Gooden, Greg Jeffries, Paul Merrill, Frank Robinson, Jim Rice, Tony Gwynn, Jim Rice, Winfield, Lou Brock, Andre Dawson, Randy Johnson, rookie, Dave Winfield, Randy Johnson, rookie, Andre Dawson, Randy Johnson, rookie, Andre Dawson, Lee Smith, Dennis Eckersley, and Doc Gooden. So, quite a few good cards in this 1989 classic top set for me, or at least it has a classic Americana look, and quite enjoyed that. Hope you did as well. Please leave us a comment, subscribe. We'll be opening more. I'll be opening more Junk Wax era boxes. Dustin's going to be opening up some more modern products, and he may get into a few Junk Wax as well. But until next time, we'll see you.